So what are we really trying to get you to do here? Following on to what Dana started with, what Trent talked about, is kind of rethink your strategies, rethink about what you're doing with this. What does that look like? And for us here, it's really going to be eliminating things. You've got those high CapEx costs of buying new systems, systems that were high performance at the time, but you ran Windows, you layered a bunch of management agents on it. It started to run like it's stuck in mud and doesn't really work well for you. You have a quick refresh cycle of 3 to 5 years before you got to buy another one. And again, those management and security agents are expensive. So you're layering those on top. So we're trying to reduce that. And we're trying to reduce those operating expenses. We saw with the deployment of 24H2 Windows 11 that it's expensive. Etching, testing, maintaining, managing, monitoring, dealing with all that, remediating problems. It's extremely expensive. And we're trying to, again, with our preventative security model, fix that whole broken monitor, detect, remediate, where you know the bad guys are going to get in and how do you respond to it? And that's just not that's not an answer that's acceptable in 2025. And what does that really look like? We typically find our customers are saving about 75% by switching to IGEL OS. And that's a bold claim, but we can run on much thinner hardware. We have much further extended lifespans on that hardware. There's much less resources required to install, configure, manage, maintain that. We typically will find that, say, if it's about $1 million per 1,000 devices to manage, which is what it really costs most enterprises, we can usually trim that down to about 250,000. So you're probably looking at these numbers and saying that's completely crazy. There's no way you can do that. But what we've done is we've partnered with a leading provider of ROI and TCO calculations to create models for us. Those models are something that we have access to at IGEL. But not only that, Choice Solutions has access to these models as well. So as you partner with Choice and you look at your overall IT budgets, you can use these models with the information they give you. And it's going to be as good as the data that you provide them and to provide us for things like, what are you paying for labor? How many hours does it take to do X, Y, or Z? Have you had a malware infection before? What does that cost to remediate? What are the costs of your endpoint agents? What's your refresh cycle on hardware? What if you could extend that 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? What does that look like to you? And we typically find, I say 75%. In some cases here, this was a 40,000 endpoint. This was a medical client of ours. They were saving right at about $41 million or 90%. Right? Really, really big. And I'm not even including things like you see here, reduced risk of major security incident. Security is one of our key things, but they put that as a low priority. They didn't think that was likely to happen with their other solutions in place. They were really looking at here things like reduced costs for unneeded AV. They were looking at labor shifting, take that away from help desk and the amount of tickets they had. They looked at things like how much more quickly could folks access their VDI and their Epic HMR systems running on IGEL. 6 minutes here, 2 minutes there, that all adds up when you're talking about 40,000 different practitioners that were using IGEL. We were able to calculate that for them. So I know not everyone here is medical, so we're going to talk about a couple other ones real quick, and then I'm going to transition it back. This was an energy one. And this here, all these slides, I didn't create them. These are generated by our tool and our system that Choice has access to allow them to create this business justification for you. So energy endpoints here, tremendous amount. 3-year total was about $177 million in savings on that. Now, not everybody's that big. So I'm going to include one last one, and that's financial. Financial here, 1,600 endpoints. We were really looking at a 3-year savings, about $3 million. So these are real quantifiable numbers that make sense. We typically find by switching to IGEL OS, that alone will pay for the cost difference for any of the on-prem or cloud solutions that you want for VDI, DAS, browser-based delivery of services and applications.